In the heart of Dublin, where the rain often danced on cobblestone streets and life hurried past in grey coats and silent stares, there lived a quiet man named Ramon de la Cruz. He was 52, a Filipino immigrant who worked as a janitor at the Grand Phoenix Theater, the same place where dreams were made, where voices rose, and where applause filled the air like magic dust. Every night, after the last audience member left, and the bright stage lights dimmed, Ramon would mop the shining floors. But sometimes, when no one was watching, he would pause, lean against his mop and sing. His voice, soft at first, would rise into the empty theater, filling every seat with something hauntingly beautiful. He sang songs from long ago, Can't Help Falling in Love, Suspicious Minds, Love Me Tender, the songs of Elvis Presley, his idol since childhood. It was in those quiet secret hours that Ramon felt truly alive. Years ago, in the Philippines, Ramon had once dreamed of being a singer. He sang at weddings, fiestas, and even in a small bar in his province. But when his wife, Maria, fell ill, dreams had to be traded for survival. He sold his guitar, left his children with relatives, and moved to Ireland, chasing not applause, but a paycheck. Every month, he sent money home, and every night, after scrubbing theater floors, he whispered prayers that his sacrifices meant something. But life in a foreign land can be cruelly quiet. His co-workers barely spoke to him. The world only saw a janitor, not the music that burned inside his soul, until one night. It was close to midnight. The theater was empty, except for one man, Tommy, a young lighting technician who had forgotten his phone backstage. When he returned to get it, he heard a voice echoing from the main hall. He froze. Ramon was standing center stage, mop in hand, eyes closed, singing Can't Help Falling in Love with a depth that made the air itself tremble. Tommy's jaw dropped. The old janitor's voice wasn't just good, it was extraordinary. Soulful, smooth, filled with pain, and love and life. When Ramon finished, he looked up, and saw Tommy staring. Embarrassed, he stammered, "Oh, sorry, sir. I didn't know anyone was here." But Tommy just said softly, "Ramon, you need to audition for Ireland's Got Talent." Ramon laughed. "Me? No. I'm too old for that." Tommy shook his head. "You're not too old. You're just undiscovered." At first, Ramon refused. He was terrified. What would people say? A janitor trying to be Elvis. But Tommy didn't give up. He recorded Ramon singing on his phone, and posted a short clip online. 2 days later, the clip exploded, hundreds of thousands of views. Comments like, "This man sings better than Elvis himself." Was he? Someone give him a record deal. When Ramon saw the video, tears filled his eyes. Not because of fame, but because, for the first time in decades, people saw him not as a cleaner, but as a singer. So, trembling with both fear and hope, Ramon agreed to audition. The day of the audition was cold and rainy. Ramon arrived at the Ireland's Got Talent theater in his old brown jacket, holding a small photo of Maria and his children. Backstage, surrounded by dancers, magicians, and comedians, he felt out of place. When a producer asked, "Sir, what do you do for a living?" Ramon answered softly, "I clean theaters like this one." The producer smiled kindly, but his tone changed, less curious, more polite. "Well, good luck then." When his turn came, Ramon walked slowly onto the stage. Simon Cowell, Amanda Holden, and the other judges sat watching. The crowd was silent. Simon looked up, unimpressed. "Hello there. What's your name?" "My name is Ramon. I'm from the Philippines. I work as a janitor here in Dublin." Simon raised an eyebrow. "And what will you be doing for us today?" "I will be singing a song by Elvis Presley." A soft ripple of laughter spread through the audience. Some whispered, "Oh no, not another Elvis impersonator." Ramon smiled nervously. "I'm not trying to be Elvis, sir. I'm just singing from my heart." Then the music started. It was Can't Help Falling in Love. The first note was gentle, trembling slightly. But as he continued, his voice deepened, rich with emotion. The theater fell silent. You could hear every breath, every ache in his soul. When he reached the final verse, "Take my hand, take my whole life too," his eyes filled with tears. He wasn't singing to impress the judges. He was singing to Maria, the woman he hadn't seen in 10 years, the woman he worked every night for. When the song ended, there was a heartbeat of silence. Then, an eruption of applause. The audience rose to their feet. Amanda Holden wiped her tears. Even Simon Cowell, known for his coldness, stood up slowly, clapping. He leaned forward, his voice soft, but sharp with emotion. "Ramon, I've heard 1,000 Elvis covers. But what you just did wasn't an imitation. It was real. You made me feel every word." He pressed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti rained from the ceiling. Ramon stood frozen, his hands trembling, as the crowd screamed his name. He covered his face and sobbed. For the first time, his pain turned into music, and his music turned into love. The video of his performance went viral overnight. Filipino Janitor's voice shocks Simon Cowell was everywhere. Millions of views in a day. News outlets called him the Dublin Elvis. Radio stations invited him to sing. A record label offered him a contract. But what touched people most was not his voice, it was his humility. When asked how it felt to be famous, Ramon simply said, "I'm still the same man. I still clean floors. Only now when I sing, people listen." A few months later, during the finals, he stood on the same stage again, this time wearing a simple suit, his heart filled with gratitude. Before singing, he looked straight at the camera and said softly, "Maria, this is for you." He sang "If I Can Dream," and halfway through, the screen behind him lit up, showing a live video call from the Philippines. Maria was there, smiling through tears. Their children, now grown, were beside her, waving. Ramon's voice broke, but he kept singing. The crowd cried. He didn't win the show, but he won something far greater. He reunited his family, inspired millions, and proved that no dream is too late. Today, Ramon de la Cruz performs across Ireland, but he still visits the Phoenix Theatre once a week, not to clean, but to thank the staff who once worked beside him. He walks to the empty stage, looks out at the seats, and whispers, "Dreams never die. They just wait for courage." And when he sings, the world listens.